there on YouTube? This is your man Shadicstick dropping some hot fragga on this mic. Today we're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, more specifically this Sega Sammy Holdings meeting where they're talking about Sonic. Essentially they're talking about the future of Sega as a whole, but Sonic comes up a myriad of times considering that's basically one of Sega's biggest IPs and their mascot, their poster boy. You'd expect to hear at least a little bit about Sonic, and they talk about Sonic quite a bit here. They talk about Sonic Frontiers, they talk about, the movie, and just overall merchandising and stuff outside of the games to see how they could push the Sonic brand even further, especially considering that they've actually been doing pretty well with the Sonic brand over the past few years. But I'll basically just be reading the questions here and then, and the answers, and then giving my take on each one. So I hope you guys enjoy. Also, make sure to follow your boy on Twitter. I'm trying to get to 400 followers, and also, make sure you check out my boy John's channel. That's whose remix I'm using in this video. Well, let's just hop right into the video. So the first thing we have here is, looking at the video, Sonic Frontiers looks like an open world kind of concept. Is that correct? Also, if you have any target number of cells, can you please share? And then they say, as for a target number, because of this is completely new title for the first time in many years, we are planning for a global multi-platform rollout. We would like to go beyond the first year number cells of Sonic Forces, which is the previous title. For lifetime cells, we look forward to further increase. We'd like for you to wait for future announcement for the details, but this is the title with no compromise in terms of quality, and that has taken on many new challenges. Originally, it was planned to be released on this year, the 30th anniversary of Sonic, but we have postponed the release for a year in order to further brush up the quality. Not only for this title, but during the development phase, we have been steadily conducting analysis to improve the quality of the title before release, such as introducing game testing based on external evaluations. And I have a feeling that this will become a good game and have high expectations for it. So this is one of the biggest things people have been talking about this week or just these past few weeks, and that has been Sega saying that they have been brushing up the quality on this game. Many people are saying we need to see the game before you say this, and many others being happy that Sega's taking the quality of the game in account. So how do I feel about this? I feel, I fall into kind of both camps. Well, yes, I understand the thought of show it before you say it. They are talking to investors. They're not talking to us. Whatever they say here doesn't really matter to, I guess, the average individual. So when they're saying they're caring about the quality, they're brushing up on the quality, they kind of really have to mean it here. Especially given, I guess, the status of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise over the years. Even some of the most well-regarded games in the series are notable because they've been rushed. I mean, Sonic Adventure 1 is most notable because it was made in like a year. I think even less than that. So for them to say that they're delaying the game and pushing it out, at least internally, to ensure the quality of the game is really important, because that's not an approach that they would have taken in the past. So I really do think they genuinely mean it when they say that they care about this and this is like a big undertaking for them and they really care about the quality for this game. I think it's pretty disingenuous considering we know the past and the history of Sonic game development to say that, oh, this is just, them talking. Like they genuinely mean this. I do think they mean. I think it's kind of disingenuous when we know the past and the history surrounding the development of Sonic titles to say that, oh, they're just, speaking out of their ass. They're not. They're being extremely genuine here when they mean they care about the quality of this game and they're brushing up on the quality of the game to make sure it's the best product ever so people will go and buy it. Also, on the, note of it outselling Sonic Forces, I think Sonic Forces probably sold extremely well. While we don't have concrete numbers, based on how much they kind of just pushed that game, and despite it not reviewing super well, I see it everywhere. Whether it's on sale or not, it's in those packs with the game. So they've pushed this game, back and forth trying to get it out of the door, regardless of it being good or not. Especially when they were putting it in packs with Super Monkey Ball or Team Sonic Racing or Sonic Mania. They were definitely trying to bolster the sales of Sonic Forces. I think it was even a PlayStation Plus game at one point. Don't quote me on that. I know Mania was. I don't know if Sonic Forces was. So I'm pretty sure that game, if it didn't sell well, it hit a lot of people's consoles and in the like. So that game more than likely sold extremely well, because Sonic games tend to sell well despite their quality. Even the ones that didn't sell as well in the past because of their quality sold well for a video. But moving on, The next question we see in regards to, Sonic is, can you share the possibility of strengthening the monetization of Sonic IP further in order to increase profits, such as merchandising, movies, etc.? Here they answer, in terms of contribution to the profits, we think the games will be the main, saying the games will be the main source of profit and where we get our money. We'd like to proceed the major new title for global and multi-platform in the gamer area. Referring to the recent environment, the number of movie viewers we reached has increased significantly due to the global hit of the movie and the following subscription rollout of it, talking about, it being on, streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, the like. And if you include mobile and other businesses, the IP has been able to reach the scale of hundreds of millions of people, which is true. It has been, Sonic Dash has been downloaded by so many people. I think it does better than most games in the market, and I think it's lasted a lot longer than I thought it would, to be honest. And they continue to update it. Sonic Forces Speed Battle continues to do well. I'm not surprised by that. As the effect of the hit movie, the situations in which parents and children of two generations can enjoy the Sonic IP together is increasing, so we think it is important to release high-quality games as this timing. For the expansion other than the game, we believe that it is the principle to work with the partners who are reliable and can provide high-quality products and services. Basically, they're going to work with people who have namesakes who can provide high-quality products, services, etc. I think the one of the greatest examples of the clothing merch, I think it's like Stray Rats or Stray Cats, something like that. It's Stray Rats, I just looked it up. But they provide high-quality merchandise. That's someone you want to partner with because it makes your brand look better. And, on top of that, they did the Sonic Ice thing, and they've been putting Sonic in a myriad of games like Fall Guys, etc. Basically, they're putting Sonic in places where it would be essentially where the brand would be seen as a respectable brand. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to put Sonic in just any random game or any random product. You want to put them on a product that people are going to buy and that people respect. And that's what they're saying here. On top of that, they want to put Sonic, I guess, in the houses as houses of as many people as possible. They kind of want to have the Mario or the Pokemon effect, where every generation of people in the household has their Sonic game that they like. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but and I think this happens in the community more so in households in general, but if you go to someone's house, people will talk about, Mario. Say, for instance, I've been in people's household, and, the parents will talk about the old Mario games I grew up with, whereas, you have maybe some older children in the household, maybe people in their 20s, 30s talk about the games they grew up with, and then the kids coming along playing the new Mario game. I think they're trying to essentially achieve the same thing with Sonic the Hedgehog. One of the things, again, that Sonic has really had an issue with is that consistency and quality. Well, yes, people will, give their kids Sonic. In retrospect, they look back on it and they're like, did I really like that? You don't want people to think that. You want people to consistently have this opinion that Sonic is good. But they continue. As for animation we are working on with Netflix, we can roll out this with very low risk as the Sonic IP is strong. Towards the release of the sequel movie, which is scheduled to release in April, we expect to increase of view of the previous movie via subscription, etc., and will boost revenue again. The licensing business, including merchandising, has already become a scale of tens of billions of yen on a retail sell price basis, and its rollout on the EU and North America is expanding considerably. On the other hand, we still have a lot of challenges in Asia marketing, including Japan, so we want to focus our efforts over the next year when we release a new game, which is actually true. I don't know if you guys know this, but Sonic has never been super popular in Japan. Actually, the biggest markets for Sonic are North America and Europe, respectively. Which is ironic considering, the history of SEGA. They're a Japanese company. I mean, originally they were an American company, but traditionally a lot of the stuff they release, they're a bunch of Japanese developers, but they don't do well in their homeland. It's actually kind of reminiscent of another series that, isn't quite as popular, like Metroid. Metroid doesn't do super well in Japan, but it does, relatively well in North America and Europe. And one of the things I think they're going to try to tackle with Sonic over this next year, especially considering games like Breath of the Wild are extremely popular in Japan. Again, Zelda is popular in Japan, but nowhere near the length it is in North America or Europe. But Breath of the Wild was the game that really made Zelda, I guess, pop off in Japan in the same way as like a Mario. And I think they're gonna try to achieve the same thing with Sonic Frontiers, which would make sense why they're, pulling so much from Breath of the Wild. I mean, again, Breath of the Wild revolutionized the open world video game, don't get me wrong. But another aspect it opened was marketing. I mean, you see Zelda merch everywhere, and there are entire channels dedicated just to Breath of the Wild on YouTube that are Japanese. Not Zelda, just Breath of the Wild. So you got to really take that into account, especially with, the move to like making more Muso games, which are really popular in Japan. It makes sense. Copy the series that, again, one of the series that, essentially wasn't as popular in Japan as it was in the rest of the world, and then see how it bolstered itself in Japan. It makes sense. But let's continue. Is there any other Sega-owned IP that could take strategic IP rollout similar to Sonic? Basically, they're seeing what could they make as big as Sonic. Like for Nintendo, you have Mario, you have Zelda, you have Pokemon, you have Splatoon. Those are their big pillar franchises right now. So what would that be for Sega? As for the potential other than Sonic IP in terms of licensing and merchandising, IPs which we are receiving a lot of offers at the moment are Persona and Project Sekai. I think that we can continue to further roll out aggressively for these IPs in the future. However, we don't expect they will grow to the IP that can reach to hundreds of millions of people at the similar scale as Sonic at this moment. In addition, Super Monkey Ball, which was released the remake this year, has a history of recording millions of downloads once it was released as a launch title in the App Store, and is very popular, especially in the US. So we may see the possibility of the rollout in video and merchandising. The offer for making video and remake a past IP is increasing significantly following the success of Sonic movie. We're considering revitalizing the revival of dominant IPs in the future, including the possibility of working with other partners, which I think is great. Now, I know this isn't necessarily 100% Sonic related, but I wanted to talk about it because I've been playing Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, and I think one of the issues Sega has right now is they have a ton of IPs under their belt that a lot of people like. I mean, the perfect example is, like they said, Persona, that they aren't really doing much with. Persona 5 came out, was a smash hit. They released P5 Strikers, didn't release them on any other platforms outside of really Sony's platforms. I mean, P5S released on the Switch, but really on nothing else. They re-released Persona 5 Golden, was surprised that it did extremely well on Steam. Didn't release it on anything else, which is, I think, incredibly stupid, especially considering that the Nintendo Switch is the dominant console right now in Japan. And I think releasing a game like Persona 5 Golden, Jesus Christ, I'm going off on a rant, would do extremely well for them. I don't know. And it's kind of crazy because a lot of their games offer a lot of cross promotion. That's why a lot of people, will gravitate towards, their games. I mean, let's say, for instance, let's look at Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. You can play as Jet Set Radio characters. You can play as, Beat. You can play as Sonic and Tails, Kiryu. And this attracts people to the game because they wouldn't have otherwise have bought the game. It's like, oh, I can play as Sonic, I can play as Tails, I can play as Kiryu. Like, this is what attracts people to play your games. And I don't know why Sega is, not taking the opportunity to really, I guess, make something amazing with their other IPs. But that's just me. So the next thing they talk about isn't directly related to Sonic, but they bring up Sonic, and I think it's actually something I want to talk about. So let's read this next part. Can you share about your strategy for the repeat sales, especially how you think about the strategy to pile up the revenue continuously every year? It seems you can earn revenue from repeat sales following the year when you have numbers of new titles. However, there's an example of the other company which is combining pricing and regional strategies to build up profits. I'd like to hear your thought on such approach, which I think they're talking about Nintendo. As for consumer games, the culture of buying a packaged game on the day of release is no longer on the trend, and the penetration of digital sales has made it to business that contributes to revenue for a long term. In fact, the year after a new title is released, that title is counted as a repeat, especially if the new title is released at the end of the fiscal year. It will contribute to the increase in volume of repeat sales the following year. For the pricing strategy, we feel that we're at a point where we need to rethink For example, for the new Sonic game, as we are focusing on quality and spending a certain amount of money on development, we think it's important to maintain the price by maintaining the value of the IP at a high level rather than simply lowering the price at early stage to increase the number of unit sales, which I think they're talking about the Nintendo strategy. Nintendo's games sell extremely well, but they never go down in price. You know, Breath of the Wild has sold a solid 24 million units on the Nintendo Switch alone. This does not include Wii U since launch. That game came out almost 5 years ago and it's still $60, or they can still continue to sell it for $60. That is what Sega wants for Sonic. They want the ability to essentially hold the value of the game for a long period of time. By doing that, they have to raise the quality of the game. No matter what you argue about Nintendo games, whether you like them or not, there's a level of quality that very few companies have, essentially reached with their titles. So the fact that we're gonna see this with Sonic, or they're at least attempting this with Sonic, says something about the future of the Sonic IP, the Sonic brand, and the Sonic franchise as a whole. I wonder what they're gonna do with Sonic Frontiers, because it really has to be big. Sonic Frontiers essentially has to be the game that, while not necessarily being a reboot, has to feel like a reboot. It has to feel like a reset for Sonic, and it has to feel like the future of Sonic after that game is secure. This is all really interesting information, and I want to know what you guys think in that comment section down below. Are you excited for Sonic Frontiers? How do you feel like Sega is approaching the Sonic brand and IP as a whole in general? And tell me what you'd like to see from Sega in the future. This is me, your man Shadicstick. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Remember, Hot Faraga turns to Cold Bazaga. Check out some of my other videos. Follow your boy on Twitter. Peace. Have a good one.